I'd like to show you how simple it is to create a continuous integration build server using our hosted TFS, Windows Azure websites, and Visual Studio. To get started, I'm going to open my browser and jump up to our TFS preview site. That's at tfspreview.com. And if you haven't already created a free account, you can do so here. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Now, I've already created a hosted TFS server here, and it's at brettdemo.tfspreview.com. Notice the HTTPS moniker, though. And in there, then, I'm going to create a team project for my Azure website. And team projects contain a whole bunch of things like work items and documents, but more importantly for this demo are source control and build definitions. So I'm going to just create one, and I'll call it my CI demo team project. You can give it a description. I'll leave it at the default process template and hit create project. Once that's done, I can click on navigate to project, and I'll be at the portal page for my team project. The next thing I want to do is sign into Windows Azure's management portal. That's at windowsazure.com. And again, if you don't have a Windows Azure account, you can create a free 90-day trial right here. I've already got one, so I'll sign into the portal. And over on the left-hand side, I'll click on websites, and I see that at the current time, I don't have any websites. Now, I could click here to create one, or anywhere inside the management portal, if you click on the new button, you can create a new resource of many types. I'm going to create a new website, go to quick create, as opposed to creating one with a SQL or MySQL database, or choosing from a pre-existing template. So I'll hit quick create, and I'll just call it, how about CI demo? Verify that the host name is valid, and that'll be cidemo.azurewebsites.net. Pick the region, and if you have multiple subscriptions, pick the one that you want to use. I'll hit create a website. And in just a few seconds, I've got a new website provisioned up in Windows Azure. So let me go ahead and click on the name of the website to get into its dashboard. And you'll notice that I could start adding content to this website a number of ways. I could upload it. I could use Web Matrix. I could set up some deployment credentials that would then let me FTP into my site. Or we can set up publishing through GET or TFS. I'm going to set up TFS publishing. So I'll click on that link, and it needs to know the name of my TFS preview server, and that was Brett Demo. I'll authorize that and accept the permissions inside TFS. And on the authorization succeeded page, it'll show you the team projects available in your TFS server. There's that CI demo team project we just made. So I'll pick that one and click the check mark. And I've now created a link between my Azure website and my TFS server. So the next thing I need to do then is to start creating code in Visual Studio, add it to the source control, and check it in. As I just linked this Azure website to TFS, it also created a continuous integration build definition that says from now on, when any check-ins occur against my source control, it'll kick off an automatic build and an automatic deployment up to this Azure website. So notice there's a link right down here that'll take me straight to Visual Studio and connect me directly to my team project. I'll confirm it and allow it to launch. And if this is the first time you've connected to your team server or TFS server from within Visual Studio, you'll be prompted to authenticate. And in the Visual Studio Team Explorer window now, I can see I've got my CI demo team project up off my brettdemo.tfspreview hosted TFS server. So next I need to go to Visual Studio, File, New Project, and I'm going to create a web project that's going to be published up into my website. Now, because we're going to be deploying this into Azure, currently only .NET Framework 4 is supported. At a later time, we expect Framework 4.5 to be available, but for right now, .NET Framework 4 is what we've got. So I'll pick that. I'm going to do an MVC4 application, and I'll just call it, how about CI Demo? The key, though, is I want to make sure to add this project into source control. Now, I'm going to do it here as I create the project. If you had an existing project, you could always add it to your newly created team project. I'm going to do it right here. I'll use the Internet Application MVC project template. By the way, you could do test projects as well, and they could even be run for you by the continuous integration build. And in the add solution to source control dialog, then I'm just going to accept the defaults, but notice it's going to add my CI demo solution into my CI demo team project in TFS. And there we go. I can now modify the source code of my website and debug it locally. So this is going to do a local build and debug locally in my own browser. And I can verify that it works. So everything looks good to me. It's now time to go ahead and check this in. So in my Team Explorer window, I'll just click on Pending Changes, give this check-in a comment, and hit the check-in button and confirm adding 291 items into source control. All right, I see that my change set was successfully checked in. And in my Team Explorer window in Visual Studio, from this dropdown, if I go to Builds, I can see the CI Demo Continuous Integration build that was created when I linked my Azure website up to TFS. And if I open that up and go to the Queued tab, I can see that it's been queued. I can also see that from my TFS Team Projects website. If I go to the Build page, under Queued, I can see the same build. And if I go to my Azure website, I can see that the continuous integration build is deploying up to the website in Windows Azure. All right, and the deployment is complete. So now down here along the bottom, I can just click on the browse link, and that'll take me, remember that host name, cidemo.azurewebsites.net? And there's my website. So now, back in Visual Studio, I can make more changes. When I check in, a new build will kick off, and the deployment will resume. That's how simple it is to create a continuous integration build server with hosted TFS, Windows Azure Websites, and Visual Studio.